Hello, hello. Check, one, two. That's good. I'm only using this because we're live streaming, so normally my voice is loud enough. G'day everyone, my name's John Crone and I'm heading up the information unit at the Incident Management Centre in Bairnsdale here, and I'm here with our incident controller for this area, for this incident, Brett Mitchell. But before we start, I just wanted to say thanks for coming along. It's a terrific turnout. It's very hot and stuffy in this room, so we will not keep you any longer than we really need to, okay? But thanks very much for allowing us to come out into your community and catch up with you and give you all the information that we think that you need to have, and the opportunity to engage with a number of people who are here with us tonight. I just wanted to set the scene for what we're hoping to achieve tonight. The reason that we're here is very much about the increased risk to bushfire heading into tomorrow. It's fair to say we don't need to talk about how much fire we've had and the impact that we've had on the local community. We're not going to do that, but we're just really keen for you to understand that it is not over, and tomorrow is a very concerning day for us in terms of the expected weather and the expected fire behaviour. So we really want to get people's attention and talk to you about the fact that we are approaching another challenging day in terms of fire tomorrow. And in order to, once we talk about that, we're not just going to walk away. We've also got some other things that we want to talk about. So we've certainly got a number of representatives here from support agencies across the industry that we can talk to as well. But key messages and key reason for being here is to talk about getting ready for tomorrow and what that means for us. I haven't got bad eyes. I've just got short arms. So Brett Mitchell, just a few introductions. Brett Mitchell's our incident controller. Is John White here from Shire? Okay. John's on his way. We've got, is Anthony here, CEO? Stuart from Council, thanks very much for coming along. That's me, I'm next. Victoria Police, Alan and James. Thanks very much, guys. AgVic, Del from AgVic is here. EPA, did Stacey make it from EPA? No, she might be still on her way. Apologies if she doesn't make it. We've got Rob from Ambulance Victoria. Terrific. Did anybody come from DHS? We've invited DHS along. DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. No, absent. Red Cross, did Red Cross make it? Well, we're not doing too bad. And we've got some CFA peer support people here as well. They're up the back. One of them's tall enough, the other one's not quite. Put your hand up a bit higher. Good work. So, like I said, the purpose of today is to talk about the bushfire risk and some other support services and so forth moving forward. So with that, I might hand over to Brett, our incident controller, to talk about, where we're heading to over the next 24 hours.
Thanks, John, and welcome everyone this evening. Tomorrow is going to be a bad day, so some of you may have been following the forecast. So what we're expecting is hot temperatures, strong northwesterly winds, and a late southwesterly change. So the change is expected around 1700 or around that time. We'll get some better intelligence on that. Obviously, we've had a little bit of rain in the last few days. That has done really nothing to put this fire out. The activity has decreased. Today's been the first time we've actually been able to get some aerial intelligence up in the air and get some really good information about what this fire is doing. Probably the most concerning for you guys is this southern flank, southwesterly corner here. We've had around 90 crew in there today working on that particular flank to try and quieten it down before tomorrow's northwesterly winds. We've had some specialised teams in there, including the team from the United States, so 40 United States firefighters in here, so we've tried to put our best resources in there prior to tomorrow. The other thing I get... Yep.
Northwest.
Yep.
So that's leading fire edge.
Yep.
So how far from, say, from here, where the bird flies, is the closest leading fire edge that's not controlled?
Well, what I will say is that we've got 1,200 kilometres of line we've got to try and bring into containment in really difficult country, as you know. Being a local, we know how difficult that is. Yep. So as I said, we've had close to 90 crew in there today, and done everything we can prior to tomorrow to make that as quiet as possible. You guys are obviously all locals. You understand how dry it is in this community. driest on record, 3 years of drought. I don't need to tell you how dry it is, even though after a rain. Fire gets active. We had 30 mil of rain 4 or 5 weeks ago, don't quote me on that exact number. 2 days later, fire was active. Fire will get active tomorrow. You'll see activity with these fires and they will move. We're hoping, though, this is a major priority for us. So you will see aircraft. If any activity occurs in this area tomorrow, we'll have heavy aircraft working, bombing these, plus the ground resources. They'll be in the forest, in the bush tomorrow, working hard to extinguish anything that may come out over that line. So we've had 3 D6s and a D4 in there working as well today. So we're doing everything we possibly can to prepare these communities down here for tomorrow's weather. The other consideration, I guess, longer term for these communities are these fires up to our north. They could potentially move down over time into these landscapes and could get a run tomorrow. So, as I said, a lot of fire in the landscape. It only takes one stump, one log, to ignite an ember to get over our lines. We'll do everything we can to, if that occurs, to protect you and the community around this area. So, obviously, strong risk tomorrow with a southwesterly change. There is rain forecast behind the change, which may give us some relief, but the timing of that is probably 3 or 4 hours after change. As I said, the change is expected anywhere from 5 o'clock. There'll be really erratic winds with that change. So when that change comes through, the wind will come from every direction and squall. Now, if fire activity builds, a column could collapse as well. Don't anticipate that to occur into this particular area here. So we are well prepared for tomorrow. I hope you guys are as well. You need to enact your fire plans. So understand what the emergency alerts are saying to you as a community, okay? So be well prepared for tomorrow. It is a bad day. I'm not going to underestimate that. I've been fighting fires for 30 years in Gippsland. I've never seen fire activity like it. So that's a warning for you. So people that have previously been involved in fires in this landscape, this is unprecedented. I don't know, I'm not trying to scare you with that, but that's the fact, okay? So that's tomorrow's conditions, and then we go into a bit of a benign pattern for a few days, which hopefully will allow us more time to consolidate some, strong containment lines around communities around this southern edge. We're really concerned tomorrow also about these OMEO communities down here, up here I should say, up to the north of us. These fires have been really active today, as they have been in around Buchan, so our resources are fairly stretched, but we're putting resources where our assets are at risk, at most at risk. We've got 3 additional CFA strike teams coming in tomorrow to support us as well. A couple of those will be staged in Bairnsdale. We'll put those resources where the demand suggests. Is there any questions on any of that?
Yeah, I've got a question. We can't quite see the map up there. So the active fire area, is that higher than Bullmore, or where exactly is the active fire area?
No, it's a bit south of that.
Sorry?
South of that.
South.
Yep. That whole western edge though was active, before the rain, so it could come out anywhere on that western side. So, yep.
Can you point out where this wall is, right on the map for us? So we've got
You got a local? Sorry, it's a large scale map, and I haven't got my glasses with me. There's Mount Taylor there, so just there is Clifton Creek. Be right there, mate, with it.
We're there.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to get your head around it, the live fire edge these guys are talking about is from Ken Stewart's back corner, up Howard Spur in a northerly direction, and then across Faulkner Spur, which has been the newly constructed Brad Fisher line, as we call it locally. The fire activity is all east of Howard Spur and north of Faulkner Spur. Then it goes around the private, up Bullamall, across the top of Bullamall, and then we won't go into the plan after that because it's just ugly country and there's no deal. So there you go.
Thanks. It's great local information there. Much appreciated. Any other questions anyone's got? I'll hang around for a few minutes after the meeting, so anyone that doesn't want to, sorry, here's one here, yep.
They've had CFA and they'll come to a property. Will they do that again?
Will they do it? Look, to be honest, we can't guarantee that a fire truck or a fire appliance is going to come to your house.
They came with a grader first, and then there's two women that actually came to see whether you were coming, going, whatever.
Are you talking about tomorrow? Yeah, no. So this is your advice for you now. You need to enact your fire plan. So whether you decide to stay and defend or to leave. The other thing I will say, road closures could happen very quickly. If this fire gets active, we have to enact road closures very quickly. So you need to basically decide tonight what you're going to do tomorrow. So you make that decision tonight.
In regards to the road closure, they have a roadblock on Deptford Road where it leaves the highway. It should have been where Belfast Road hits Deptford Road, like the traffic is ridiculous. Because they can't go any further past there, but if you block Deptford Road, they just come out to Wyoming to Belfast Road.
Are you talking about now or?
Well, the other day and in the future.
Yeah, okay. Just make a note of that, John, for me, thanks.
Yeah, I think the roadblocks need to go back into the communities a little bit further rather than sit on the highways. Because there's people that come around the back road, and then on Tuesday it was, everybody was out there just having a look around. We were struggling.
Yeah, that's not fair. Yep. Okay.
Cameras were just going everywhere, and it just wasn't right.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair point. The other thing while it's in my head, while I talk about roads and access, obviously you've seen the amount of trees that have been cleared off some of the roads. In a fire situation, a tree can come down and block your access very quickly. So don't rely on that access, particularly, around this area. Sorry, there's another question here.
If the road blocks up the corner of Deptford Road and Waterholes Road, and we're out this side of it, we can get out.
You can get out, absolutely. Yeah, we will be just stopping people come in. Yeah. No, we're not. Don't believe me.
Road closure at Deptford Road, it was slightly confusing as a local whether I could go up or down knowing that Belfast Road is open. So I drove around the back, but was I allowed to go in or was I not allowed to go in as a local?
Okay.
Was I on Waterholes Road?
Yeah. As a local, you can gain access in a category C and B closure, not in an A closure. Sorry, I'm not across that level of detail. Yeah, that'd be great, James.
Oh, geez, that was loud. Sorry. I'll try it down here. James Wern, I've been down to Bairnsdale for about 4 years now. Roadblocks are never perfect, and apart from the fire, second most inconvenience you're ever going to have, because it stops you going from A to B. The main reason, and the reason we stick roadblocks in particular places, is to stop the majority of traffic heading into the fire zones. We don't have the ability to block off every road, and then as locals, you know the roads that can bypass and go around, but what we're trying to do is stop the tourists with the caravan driving themselves into fire danger areas, and restrict the amount of traffic getting in so the firefighters can get in and out quickly down those main arterials they need to get in. As Alan said, we will never block your access getting out, and for the most part we'll allow you, if you've got a driver's licence, to get inside the roadblocks again if it's safe for you to do so. Obviously a lot of people have got interests, they've got farms, they've got families, they've got houses, they've got their lives in this area. We understand that, and we understand people are going to come back into their community. It's about the mainstream traffic and their management points. So, any other questions on the roadblocks? No? Yeah. Category A is about emergency services vehicles going back and forth through the road. B is the assessment vehicles go through, they make sure the area is safe. Then the C's open up so locals with their driver's licences, contractors to clear the roads, business owners, those sort of people go through on the C's.
Yep.
As a general public, how do we know what's category A, B and C? Because currently there's a road closed sign at the start of Bedford Road.
Yep.
There's unmanned.
Yes.
Obviously Bedford Road's not closed.
Yep. And as a local, you'll know whether you can or can't. It's more to stop unwanted persons coming into your community and giving you grief when you're just trying to get on with your lives.
I went out the other day,
Yep.
and I was told I was stopped there
Yes.
by the police, and they said, and I said, I'm a local.
Can I get back in?
Can I get back in? And they said, absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Now, there was no fire between my
No.
place and that road, and I know that, but the police don't.
And-
But I needed fuel for my generator
Correct.
and my fire pump.
And we pick up on that very, very quickly.
How does that work?
No, that's not common. Unfortunately, we don't have local police all the time manning those. If there are issues, it usually comes back to us at the incident, and then we get on to the police station and say, if they show their licence or they've got registration that proves they're a local in the area, let them go back in. But unfortunately, you're not always dealing with a local police officer on a roadblock. So, but no, as soon as we get the message and we know that it's safe, we'll say, yep. They've got interest in it, they've got their livelihoods and their homes, yeah. We've had people gone out for dinner and then couldn't get back after dinner, so we understand. And when we work as quick as we can to get that fixed.
Any updates on the looting?
The looting? We haven't had too many actual reports at the police station in relation to looting. What we've done though is we've got a lot more increased patrols from Melbourne, knowing that a lot of people have been away from the area. So you've probably seen a plethora of police cars out the front of the Bairnsdale police station. They're spread all the way up to Omeo now. We've got extra members up at Omeo. Where else? Buchan, we've thrown some more people. Down at Lakes Entrance, we've got more people. So anywhere, and even out at Mallacoota, we're looking at trying to boat or fly people into Mallacoota to have a more significant presence around the area too. So, and they're not here to make your life hard. They're just here to give a bit more community reassurance. So.
Have we got the same police presence tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or are they going to help demonstrate?
No. There are people that are specifically designated to come down here and stay down here for the time. So they're booked into accommodation and they're here for the long haul. It's not, and this is, as Brett said all along, this is not a short, Friday's the day and then everyone goes back home. This is going to be going on for a long, long time, and Victoria Police are committed to that as well. So.
Thank you. Now, I wanted to recap on a couple of key outcomes there. Brett talked about our fire behaviour and expected increase in risk. We really want to make sure that people are aware of that. We've got the message about the road closure location, and we'll action that. But I think a key learning there for us to all take away before tomorrow is your plan needs to be adaptable to the situation. And many people in the room will have had a plan leading into this event. They've been impacted in many and varied ways. Now that plan might not be relevant anymore, but you still need to have one for what you need to do. So please be flexible, have a think about what suits your needs, and keep it in the front of mind as we move into tomorrow. I might get John, question without notice. Would you like to come up and talk on behalf of the Shire with respect to relief? Or delegate? Thanks.
Thank you for that. And it's good to see such a large turnout here, because I was asked before I left the office, did I need anyone to come with me? And I said, no, look, I'll be right. Clifton Creek's only a small community. There's more people here than there were at Buchan earlier today. And all I can say in terms of relief, it is available, and that's where council comes to the fore. But I would like to actually say, I hope we do not have to provide after tomorrow any more relief for Clifton Creek, and I guess you all understand that, all our thoughts are about you, our residents and our visitors, if there are any visitors left in the area. And, that's why I prompted Digger to come up and start talking about the map, because, he's your man here. On New Year's Eve, it was about 10:30, I rang him to see if he was okay and what was happening out here. And he started to tell me, he said, Mount Taylor and Sarsfield, we're here at the school, we're waiting. I spoke to him for a few minutes to just reassure him, hope they'd stayed safe. Next thing he said, oh, holy shit, I've got to go. Next morning, I see Digger, totally exhausted, and the crews. And they might have been at the school, but the worst happened, and for your community. And these are the things that we pick up on. and are here to support you on all that. It's just dreadful to see what's happened, and today the Prime Minister's office called the Shire to advise us of another donation directly to us of $1 million to speed up and to fund recovery in the communities. So everything that's needed is there, but we can't do it straight away in that we've begun recovery, but we still, as you're being told right now, tomorrow, we still have a fire that may impact you. And this could go on for at least another 2 months, or until there's maybe not much left to burn. So sincerely, you know, my heart goes out to all of you. I'm watching the fire ground move more to the west, you know, the other side of Bairnsdale. I mean, the other day some of the alerts went out for Wuck Wuck, just north of Lindenhoe. So there's not much of our shire that doesn't have the possibility of an impact. And by the time this finishes, we will have a fire front that runs the full length. Probably never heard of before. So I just, you know, do what they say. Have your plan, and if it gets, you know, if you just see the embers and whatever getting close and you don't feel safe, just leave. You know, retreat to Bairnsdale. I mean, I've just come up the road. In fact, I don't know whether I did the right thing. There was a sign that said road closed, but I drove around it. Well, I'm sort of a local. Yeah, I did. And I'm just wondering who would drive up to a police car blocking a road without having a licence in their pocket to flash. I'm thinking that's got to be something you probably wouldn't do. So it's just, as I say, I'm just pleading with you, all stay safe, because we had 28 people missing earlier, and that has now dropped to none, which is fantastic news. So we don't want to hear on the news tomorrow that there's more people missing. It's just too much to bear. And I must acknowledge fellow councillor Joe here tonight. I appreciate that you've come along also, and of course and council staff have come. But as I said, just listen to all this advice, because it's they're talking real live things. And you know, I'm just looking at the last evacuation. There was a fellow from Mount Taylor. He fought bushfires all his life out there. He's now in his 80s, and I saw him. It was Max Lind. Many of you would probably know Max. And he turned up at the relief centre, and he said, I was ready to defend again. And he said, I sort of took a look in the mirror. He said, I've come in because I don't think I would have lasted 10 minutes at my age. So he's just the realisation that was real threat, and he just looked at the situation and thought, no, I can't do this. And he did the right thing. And Max is all right, you know, so that is the main thing. That's probably all I'd like to say, just that we have your back. I hope not to. Your question, sorry. Do you know, that's been front of mind for some time, even before this fire. And it's another agency, but we really are pushing hard for those agencies to get on board. I now know that there are actual people with tankers in the area are delivering water for free. They're volunteering their tankers and their stuff, but they're actually having to bring some of it from Wellington, which is, and I don't know how many of you would have contaminated water now. Any of you you washed, you know, the little bit of rain would have ruined your water, so you've actually got to get a flush and then a top up, and it is happening. But the agency that were doing that is DELP. So I'm not sure whether with all the things going on up at DELP they're across that, but I know you need drinking water. And there's an enormous supply of bottled water, if that's any good to people, back in Bairnsdale in warehouses. You just grab a slab, and at least you've got quite a few days of supply of good safe drinking water, and it's available at the, thinking now it was available at Lucknow Hall, but they've closed the door, so we've got to go through Gippsland Farmer Relief. But there's a massive supply of bottled water. So you probably just make a phone call and that's available. And of course, as far as getting the tanks, that is the agency that's dealt. Sorry.
To let everybody know, there is bottled drinking water now outside just here, and there will be more brought back in tomorrow. There's also some water filtering jugs for anybody that needs them. When we're all finished here, we'll give you a rundown on what's available right now, and then we'll take a list of people that actually need more supplies into their house that have no power, that need these essential things. I've contacted East Gippsland Water today, and just to let everybody know that
Yes.
the stand-off pipes at Griffith Street will be open for free tomorrow for anybody that needs to fill up their water tanks, but there isn't anything local other than that I'm aware of.
That's really good. That's mission accomplished. I don't know how you did it, but that's great. And of course, if you're onto the bottled water, because that's what was trying to happen over these last few days, was to get these supplies out to all the communities that were in need. So to have it here, you don't have to go looking for it. It's obviously available, readily available. So anybody else? That was the arrangement earlier, but Stuart, one of our managers here, could probably answer that. He's been up at the Incident Control Centre.
So probably the easiest thing to do is if you ring Council's customer service, we'll make a register of that, where there's some work that has to happen to get the systems in place, etc. But if we've got your name and the details and all the rest, then we can start to work that through with people. So just contact the customer service. And the other thing, I'll just remind people, we have the relief centre. So if your fire plan says you want to get out and you don't have friends or family to stay with, and I'd be honest and say friends and family is probably a nicer spot to stay than the relief centre, but there is a relief centre. It will be open Bairnsdale Oval. So it's been really busy during the day with other things, but overnight there's less people there. There's plenty of space there, and come to Bairnsdale Oval. And if you need to, we've also got the race course. But come to Bairnsdale Oval first. So there's plenty of space. We've got our colleagues up the road at Sale. They're ready to set theirs up at a moment's notice if there's heaps of people. So don't think that not having somewhere to stay is a reason not to leave if that's what your fire plan says.
Several days ago, I think before the fires, our sign up the corner of Waterholes Road disappeared. Post no lock's gone. Now I went into the customer service in there, I told the lady all about it, I said, well, sooner or later we have fires out there, and we've had fires. And I said, the last time we had a fire meeting here, someone from the CFA came up here, and the address was, what's the name, road here, and they went round that way.
Okay.
Now, the woman in the customer office said to me, they won't be able to do them because they've got to send away to get them done. Now, there's kids running around town with spray cans. Surely someone from the council can get a bit of iron and hammer on the tree, Waterholes Road with an arrow.
Okay, I'll take that one on board. Blanche is sitting in the corner there writing down notes to make sure we don't forget. Yeah, we'll take that on board and see what we can do.
Thanks very much. I said we weren't going to keep you in the heat too long, and it won't be too much longer. It was remiss of me. We're not going to just pack up and run. We've got a number of agencies around that are going to hang around for a bit longer to talk one-on-one about all those issues. But there's a couple of key things that I think we need to reflect on there. There is a myriad of support for people. There's the Information Support Centre set up at, I believe it's 24 Service Street next to the library in Bairnsdale. And there's also a 1-800 number that you can ring in, and we'll put that number up on the board for people to access support. So there is a power of work going on, as you could probably appreciate, to help support all of the needs. And we've got Ag Department here and so forth. Now, Stacey thankfully pointed out that only, I think almost as we've been speaking, Southern Water have put out a press release to say that there is a service available to clean and replace, or clean water tanks and replace water. We'll put the details of that up on the board as well, and we'll make sure that that gets circulated. And for those who are online, and they can access that information via the newsletters, and we'll make sure that it's on the Vic Emergency app relief page and things like that, and ensure that we get that information out across the community. But for tonight, we'll certainly put the details up on the board, so hopefully that'll go some way to help addressing that water issue and some of the relief stuff. But and let's not also forget about some of that emotional and sort of mental health relief too. That's very, very important. Brett talked about, we can't lose sight of the fact that we've got, well, across our fire area in East Gippsland and to our neighbours to the north, almost 1.3 million hectares of fire, and collectively across that fire ground, it's about 1,500 kilometres of fire edge that we've now got to deal with. Now, if any one of us jumped in our car today and drove for 1,500 kilometres, we'd nearly be in Bairnsdale. From Bairnsdale, we'd nearly be in Brisbane. So, that's a huge magnitude of work. And the reason I'm pointing that out is we're not going to be here for a short period of time. We've got months of work ahead of us, and we're in January. And today our aim is to get you aware of the fire risk tomorrow, but there will be a series of fire risks in the middle of January and at the end of January and into February. Even though we've had fires in East Gippsland in September over the last couple of years, I think this is the third year in a row I've been in Buchan before Christmas. We're going to be here during our hottest month and our busiest fire period through February and March. So I just want to get you into that headspace that it ain't over yet by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah? Good. Was there any questions before I bring up? We had a really good chat about some health stuff, so I might get Rob to come up.
Just one question there is, on the low days when the extreme risks aren't there, is there a direct attack on the fire ridge itself?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're doing today.
And has that been the policy from day one since the fire started?
Absolutely. When we can, when it's safe to do so, our crews are in place trying to contain these fires.
And they're bombing the fire ridge as well with helicopters on those low days?
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's the prime time for us to do it. So we have put everything we can at these fires. It's just that the conditions are such, when the wind gets active, the fire gets active. Doesn't matter about the temperature. The fuels are that dry. When the wind, as you know, I haven't seen fire behaviour on a coastal sea breeze like this ever before. So normally it's a northwesterly winds like tomorrow, but the sea breezes have impacted these fires a lot as well, which is unusual. So that's how dry your landscape is, and you know that, you live in it every day.
So you mentioned there would be northwesterly and then it would be a change to what southeasterly, and regardless of that change, it would still be, there's still going to be a chance of it being blowing the other way.
Yeah, so what's forecast is basically northwest.
Yeah.
Just prior to the change, it could be a coastal sea breeze coming in, then southwesterly, but the winds get erratic around the change, very erratic, okay? So around anywhere from 5, look, I don't work with meteorology by any stretch, but that's what our best intelligence is saying for tomorrow.
And once upon a time a change would have been great, but right now we can't tell. It could just blow the other way.
Yeah. So,
How many aircraft have you got tomorrow?
how many aircraft? 9. So, yep, 3 hour incident, yep. Not just for this particular area, but our incident. So that includes Omeo and all those. And obviously our resources are stretched to the maximum in terms of, what's happened in the northeast now as well, further east, around Malakuta and all that sort of area, Canberra. So our resources are really stretched in terms of aircraft. So basically we can't rely, if assets become under threat, that prioritises our aircraft.
Question on resources for the ground guys. The other day on Monday, I believe you pulled everyone out of the bush and sat on the interface. Is that the plan for tomorrow, or are you going to have guys in the bush?
No, guys will be in the bush tomorrow, absolutely.
So that southwest front you're talking about where the danger might come to this area?
That's just one area that's probably the priority area, but I did say one stump, one log burning, a little bit unburnt. That says that all in that area is black. There'll be a little bit of unburnt in there as well. So a log burning and that unburnt can get embers flying, and it's away. So you just got to really remain vigilant tomorrow.
So do you have an idea of when that greatest risk will be? Have we got time to leave in the morning?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I would make that decision tonight. Have your plan in place for what you're going to do tomorrow.
Yep, my name's Rob from
Ambulance Victoria, obviously. Look, a couple of quick things. Obviously, we've had a bit of a reprieve from the smoke in the last 24, 36 hours. I'm sure the smoke's going to come back. Please limit the amount of time you spend out there in the smoke if you don't have to. Obviously, no exercise, etc. If you've got access to P2 masks and you have to go in the smoke, please put them on and please follow the directions of how to use them. Make sure they're well sealed around your nose, etc. There's some directions on the packets, so please try and avoid the smoke if possible. Any of you that have long-term heart and lung-related conditions, please, if you notice that your health is dipping a little bit, please don't let it linger. Please get medical help. Don't let it sit there and say, oh, look, I'll be right for another day or another few days. Please go and seek help. As we know, the smoke and the conditions are going to make those long-term health problems far worse, far quicker. So it's not something you probably don't know, but I just want to reinforce that. And particularly if you're heading towards a relief centre where there's a big gathering of people, make sure you look after your hygiene. The last thing we want is a big group of people impacted by things like gastro and the like. That'll have a huge impact on the community. So if you're at a relief centre or a big gathering of people, make sure you look after your hand washing, particularly with toileting, particularly before you eat food, drink, etc. Make sure you've got your good supply of medication if you're going to leave. Make sure that's in your bag that you take and you've got your prescriptions and all those sort of things. From an ambulance point of view, we're getting support like every other agency from Melbourne. We're getting extra crews up into the area to help us deal with the load of work that's coming out. And thankfully the work hasn't been that huge, but we are getting a big increase in respiratory-based problems. So please don't sit on those conditions. Get help straight away. Our biggest problem, as everybody else, is that getting access to you when the roads are closed and smoke's in the air. Please don't make a decision that you don't think 000 won't be able to help you. Please make that call if you think it's necessary and let the system work out how they're going to get to you, and they'll be able to give you advice. All our calls in this whole Gippsland, East Gippsland area going through the ICC to make sure that we've got the best access and the safest access for you. So please look after yourselves out there, and hydration obviously is a pretty important thing as well. So if anyone's got any health-related questions and want to ask me, I'll hang around afterwards. And yeah, good luck for the rest of this season and the community.
Thanks, Rob. Look, that's pretty much everyone we've got in order to, in terms of agency representatives. There's a question down here.
Yeah, I've noticed a whole heck of Red Cross letters come in. I'd like to ask a question about the website that registers you as having left your home.
I'm not able to update it at any stage. You can't update that. You can't say, I've come home for 3 days and now I'm going out again. Can you find out how we can do that, please? I'm worried about people attending our house, because I don't want it to happen, attending our house when there's no lives there. And I don't know whether that interfaces with emergency services or not. Do I leave a sign on my gate saying, no lines here, just go past?
No, we'll try and protect an asset regardless.
Well, you know, I just think there's a priority.
Yeah. As long as that's safe to do so.
Yeah.
What the Red Cross is saying is that if you change your destination, so just say you go to the relief centre and then you want to go back home, instead of editing your registration, you do a whole new one. So they're combining them together back in Melbourne at their centre, so they'll work it out and work out
So just re-register.
But re-register, yes. So do a whole new registration when you change your address.
Thank you.
That's right.
The other thing on East Gippsland Shire Council website, we've got a leave early form, so that's another option for you. Yeah, that'll come into council, and then that's logged into a software program that's tracked daily. So that is another option if you want to leave and leave your details.
Okay, so we've been about 40 minutes and I think we're all feeling it. It's pretty warm, yeah. I'll just quickly recap starting from, sorry. Yep. Dig up.
Just before we go, there's 4 things that have come to light just while we've been here. First thing is, Whitey, would you be able to get air conditioning in the hall for tomorrow, please? The second thing is the water thing. There's no one from East Gippsland Water, is there? You'll notice that there's 2 fire hydrants being left down at Granite Rock, one just down the road from the quarry and the one on the corner of Deptford Road. We're not supposed to leave them there, but if the community want water, go and fill your tank up, because it's a whole lot better if you've got water and we can't do anything about it. Like, we just try and help out where we can. The other thing is there's a heap of fodder have been delivered available. There's small square bales available in a shed, and there's round bales up on the corner. Just someone get in contact with me or Kevin Caudry if you know Kevin, or anyone else that's sort of locally, we can help them. And it's for burnt farms, not for drought affected farms. So I just need to make that clear. If you're not burnt, you don't get it. It's simple as that. So there was one more thing. Oh, tomorrow. If there's fire activity tomorrow, people need to understand that you might see smoke at Palmer's Road or Bellbird Road or up Waterholes Road or over here, somewhere like that. The other day, everyone ran triple O, so there was trucks just driving around call to call. We didn't really achieve a whole lot. If anyone sees smoke or whatever, can you have a look at it? Just don't say, oh, there's smoke there, and sort of just ring triple O, because if there's half a dozen, 5 of them won't get attended to. So if people can just get their eyes on it and just see what they got, be careful, fallen branches, all that sort of shit, hot stump holes, all that sort of stuff. Just deal with the whole situation cautiously, and then if it needs help, ring. I think Eric Sherp knows all about what happens when you ring triple O. You get helicopters and 10 fire trucks and the whole shooting match, and everyone just got embarrassed. But trying to do the right thing, the system doesn't deal with good intent, it just deals with shit. So just be mindful. If we have smoke, just have a bit of a look at it, and don't hesitate to ring, but just make sure that, yeah, we've got something to deal with. So thank you.
Thanks, mate. Alrighty, look, thanks very much for your time. Some really basic key messages. One last question. Question, statement, comment, input?
Now is used by today, so if everybody wants to go grab one on their way, please go and take it, otherwise we've got to dispose of it to a bin somewhere. Also, if you continue out around the veranda there, there's packs being left with bottled water, there's water filter bags in the kitchen. It won't be enough for everybody, but if you do need one, please take one. There's also perishable foods, there's hygiene packs, and there's other packs with food items in there. Please help yourself to those. And I will keep a notepad here for anybody that needs anything specific. If they can write down or just let me know what we actually need, so we can continue the support to get into Clifton Creek, because we haven't had anything as yet, as you know. So we're going to start the ball rolling with actually looking after everybody that needs what they need now. And then we'll go on from day to day as this is what we need to get in. We are looking at getting sheep pallets and extra pet foods and things as people are bringing their pets back into the area. So again, put it all on a list so that we know what we need.
Absolutely. I was going to make a comment on that. The relief element of the incident is a priority for us as well. So if you've got any urgent relief needs, please let us know. I know some people may not feel comfortable in this environment talking about that, so happy to field some questions after the meeting as well to discuss those urgent relief needs, because that is a priority for us as well. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Look, we'll wrap it up. Just remember, our key concern is your life, really, and we've heard a lot of information about how that might be at risk. And when we're into disaster mode, this is not regular old bushfire stuff. It's been declared disaster for a reason. I really need to remind you about that health issue. You know, communities that are vulnerable like this, a case of influenza or any of the gastroenteritis, anything like that, will really, really devastate the community. So please, that is a key outcome that you need to be mindful of, because we're going to be here for a long time. All of those issues, that you have to have that front of mind. And again, the fire weather tomorrow, please have your plan. Make sure it's adaptable, it suits the situation that you're in now. Look for the information, okay? Make sure you've got your apps updated. You can use your sources of information like the ABC and all of those avenues to be updated effectively. And of course, there is a tremendous amount of welfare support that we've talked about a lot available to you. So we'll leave it there. There's a number of people in the room that can talk to you one-on-one. Take all of your issues on board. They will get actioned. They will get into the machine, and things will happen. So thanks again very much for your time and putting up with the stuffy room. It'll be great when we come back next year, and John's fixed us up with an air conditioner, so that's terrific. Consider it done. Good work. All right, thanks very much for your time.